And welcome to the SEC on ESPN. The brand new pavilion here in Oxford is rocking for the third consecutive year. Ole Miss will open up SEC regular season play against the Wildcats of Kentucky. I'm Bob Wischusen alongside Jay Willis. Glad you can spend part of your night with us. And Jay, another terrific crop of freshmen for John Calipari, particularly in the backcourt.
It's the best backcourt of freshmen that I've ever seen, Bob Wischusen. This is a backcourt with Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox that is speedy and can really score.
And for John Calipari and Andy Kennedy, two coaches that know each other extraordinarily well. But we talked about it earlier today at shoot-around. That means largely nothing when you have two teams that basically know nothing about one another, because which of these players have played against each other in spite of the fact that you've got some familiar faces out there?
Well, Sebastian Saiz is an excellent player, and DeAndre Burnett, a guy who can put points on the board at 41 against Oral Roberts earlier in the year. He's going to have a big game scoring to lead the way for Ole Miss here at home.
Kentucky had a week to sit on a loss to Louisville, a game that you called. They were 5 of 22 from 3 in that game, and still on the road almost pulled it out.
Well, 5 of 22 isn't the big problem. It's really more their defense, and that's where Kentucky, I think, can really improve, is their defensive execution. This can be an outstanding defensive team.
They normally don't waste much time on the offensive end as well. This is the fastest paced John Calipari coached Kentucky team, as Monk will drive. That's a little too strong. Check that Fox, and the rebound is pulled down by Saiz.
They went right into their elbow series. What a pass by Cullen Neal.
And a finish by Terrence Davis.
Boy, what a start for Ole Miss.
Briscoe tries to answer. Shut down at the rim. Here comes Cullen Neal. Sets up Burnett, who will attack. That's rejected, though, by Wyan Gabriel.
Well, Wyan Gabriel really did a nice job of backing up, so he couldn't get into his body.
And Briscoe draws a foul.
Ole Miss was able to get a stop. Kentucky ran a play that they call elbow, and immediately they turned that missed shot by De'Aaron Fox into 2 on the other end, basically as fast as Kentucky would normally do it to them. And this is where the free throw line, Bob, where Isaiah Briscoe has to live. He's really got it. He gets there a fair amount. He gets there 5 times a game, give or take. But I think he can get there even more. And he's an attack guard at the wing. Not a great shooter, but when he's attacking the paint, that's when he's at his best.
Briscoe put his name into the NBA draft pool at least, but decided to come back to Kentucky. He said to work on a shot more than anything else.
Well, it still needs work. I mean, he's gotten much better, but he's got to be where, get to where he can make it consistently. But he's such a good defender and an excellent guard rebound. He does a lot of really good things.
Cullen Neal, a rainbow 3, and the long rebound ends up with Marcanvas Hyman, and he draws the foul when Gabriel picks up his first.
Well, it's so important on both ends and for both teams when a shot goes up. Blockouts are huge in this game. Both these teams, good offensive rebounding teams. And when Cullen Neal shoots it, it's always a long shot. It's going to be a long rebound. That's why you got to get a body. You can't wait for somebody to come to you. You got to go to them and hit them first. Whoever hits first in this one is going to have the advantage on the glass.
Kentucky averaging a little over 93 points per game. Ole Miss averaging a little over 81 points per game. To that end, though, does it benefit Ole Miss to keep the pace up and play the way they normally play, or can they get into a shootout with Kentucky and hope to win?
Well, I mean, I think they can play at a high pace. I don't think you have to somehow, turn into Virginia and play really slowly. They're not going to do that. But I do think they have to be efficient. Ole Miss is going to have to put points on the board in this one. They're not going to score 70 points in this one and win. They're going to have to score 75, 80, and they're going to have to do a really good job defensively.
Saiz to the corner, tries a 3. Offensive rebound, Davis. Terrence Davis blocked inside by Wyan Gabriel. Briscoe cruises in and lays it home.
Boy, that's how quick Kentucky can get the ball up the floor. After you miss a shot, they're laying it in on the other end.
Not wasting any time, Terrence Davis, and back the other way we go. De'Aaron Fox will attack. The Euro step finger roll extends the early Wildcat lead.
Couple misses inside, and Kentucky turns them into layups. You know, it's one thing for Ole Miss to get the ball down the court and play fast, but you got to make those. Otherwise, Kentucky's laying it in on you. Little double team on Saiz inside.
Sets up Davis. Hits a three.
A nice job by Sebastian Saiz to dribble out of that double team and find the open shooter, Terrence Davis. Terrence Davis is more of a football player when he was in high school.
Briscoe with the lob. Adebayo with the finish. And Bam Adebayo on the board with another dunk. That has been about half his baskets scored so far this season, it seems. He ends up hanging from the rim.
Why do anything else when you can hang from the rim?
That does look like a lot of fun.
It is.
Saiz to muscle one up and through.
Really nice move by Sebastian Saiz. Turned away from the double team. It came from the high side, post to post. Now a little switch in defense, a little 1-3-1.
Making him pay from the corner. A zone buster, Malik Monk with his first triple.
Anytime you go 1-3-1, the corners are what's often open because the low man's got to cover it.
De'Aaron Fox with the steal. The finish plus the foul. A chance for an old-fashioned three-point play for De'Aaron Fox to try and double up Ole Miss early.
That's what De'Aaron Fox can do, Bob. He is an excellent defender. Takes some plays off on defense sometimes. He's still a freshman. I think this is his first game of the year with a headband. I don't think he's worn a headband earlier this year, but that ball was just way too far out to the side for Cullen Neal. And he showed the ball, and that allowed De'Aaron Fox just to take it away from him. That couldn't have been an easier steal for a good guard. You mishandle the ball like that, you're just begging somebody to take it away from you.
And as Cullen Neal picks up his second foul, he goes to the bench along with three of his teammates. The only starter that stays on the floor is Sebastian Saiz, who grabs the rebound.
I mean, that's just a killer to have Cullen Neal pick up his second foul that early in the ballgame.
Here's Brian Tyree taking over at the point guard spot. Eustace Firminovichus gets it to Tyree. Saiz spins, had it stripped away by Gabriel. To the corner, a charity hop, in and out. The follow by Saiz, point blank range, couldn't get it to go down off the miss by Tyree.
Boy, Ole Miss getting opportunities, you got to make them.
Adebayo fouled by Saiz.
Sebastian Saiz is the leading rebounder in the Southeastern Conference and one of the leading rebounders in the country. He gets the ball. Watch, the double team's going to come from the high side. Now, this was a mistake by Bam Adebayo. You got to get down to the baseline side and get on his right shoulder so he can't go to the baseline. You've got to make him turn into the double team rather than away from it.
Another sweet finish by Briscoe.
A lot of mishandling of the ball against De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt.
Saiz steps into a three. That's off the mark, and with him shooting threes, no one underneath to rebound. Adebayo runs the floor and flushes it again. And Andy Kennedy wants an early timeout.
Boy, this has been layup lines for Kentucky. They get the ball down court so quickly, unselfish and unafraid to pass ahead. Kentucky, great in transition. They've been great here at the Pavilion early.
Kentucky has made 7 of their first 9 from the field. 3 layups, 3 dunks. Part of those 7 makes. And Jay Willis, when a team starts off shooting 78% from the field in your building, this is the reaction during the timeout call by the home coach.
Well, it's not just the 78%. If Kentucky were making contested jump shots over an outstretched arm and they were being well defended, I think Andy Kennedy would just kind of shake his head and say, what are you going to do? Keep plugging. But a lot of these baskets from the Ole Miss perspective have come from poor offense on the part of the Rebels. Now, if you're Kentucky, you're saying, wait a minute, we caused a lot of that. So you've got to give, I'm not taking credit away from Kentucky, but I do think that Ole Miss has rushed some shots. They've missed some shots that perhaps they would think they should have made. And I'm telling you, you miss a shot, you miss a layup, it's going to be a layup on the other end. You've got to jam that outlet and do a much better job than Ole Miss has done. Part of the reason that Kentucky's gotten out to a fast start has been poor offense by Ole Miss.
Well, let's see how they respond out of the timeout.
Well, Ole Miss runs a lot of good offense when they run it. They run a lot of handoffs, ball screen action, roll replace action.
Long rebound off the Saiz miss, ends up in a scramble, and it's taken away. Adebayo, another dunk, the 4th early dunk for the Wildcats. helping Kentucky to a 12-point lead.
That ball was on the floor, and only one person was on the floor, and that was Isaiah Briscoe. Ole Miss had a chance to get it, but Briscoe was the one that was on the deck, and he got it turned into a layup.
Another scramble. De'Aaron Fox up ahead. Monk laid it up. Firminovic got it up against the backboard, and that is goaltending.
Wait, did Kentucky get this many layups in pregame warmups? I'm not sure they took that many. Watch Isaiah Briscoe. He was the only one that got on the floor. Everyone else was bending over at the waist. And it's no wonder that Kentucky had a layup on the other end. Actually, a dunk. I call those layups. Those are layups for me. A little high screen, then roll and replace action. Adebayo doing a pretty good job of forcing Saiz off the block.
Saiz hit the underside of the rim, spun out of the double team, and had an open look. Briscoe finds Monk trailing, allows the flyby, comes up short, and a foul will be called, but this will go on the floor against Ole Miss.
Bam Adebayo did a really nice job of essentially pushing Sebastian Saiz a foot or two off the lane. That made his move a little bit further, but still, you get to the basket like that, Sebastian Saiz got to make that. You know, Ole Miss has had some opportunities near the basket to knock some easy shots down, or relatively easy shots, and they're not making them. And Kentucky has turned those misses into fast break opportunities and really had the Ole Miss transition defense on their heels. Boy, Andy Kennedy, who was a terrific college player, played at NC State his freshman year, played for Jim Valvano, then transferred to UAB, where he scored 1,800 points playing for Gene Bartow. How about playing for those two guys? But he's done a great job here at Ole Miss. They have not gotten off to the start in this game they wanted to, but that's got to be a walk.
Instead, just lost out of bounds by Briscoe. Ole Miss has missed 7 in a row. Although Andy Kennedy, if he can calm them down at this point, see if they can fight their way back in the game.
Look, there's a long way to go in this game. They just have to calm down and get a couple of buckets running their offense, because they're getting some open shots when they run their offense.
Rasheed Brooks fades away, hit the backboard first.
Shot was there right away. He hesitated and then took a contested shot. Got to take that shot right away if you're going to take it. He was open when he hit that right elbow.
Monk, step back, short, foul underneath, and that will go against Ty Wynyard.
Malik Monk did a little step back move there when he got the switch. He had Nate Morris on him. I'm not sure he should have even taken the step back. Just rise up and shoot that thing. You know, when he goes straight up on his jump shot, it's rare he doesn't shoot a good ball.
There's an easy look at the rim. The carom still ended up with Firminovic.
A nice job off the wide pin down, and Burnett just looked for Firminovic right away. 1-3-1 again. The corner. You have to look corner first.
Briscoe straight away. The rebound carom's out, and it's taken by DeAndre Burnett. Crosses over. Gets it to go.
Burnett is really a good scorer. He's got sort of an old man game. Not a big guy. He's a small guard. But he can shoot the three and really does an excellent job of getting to the free throw line. Shoots over 90%, but he gets to the line almost 9 times a game.
Line drive 3 off the mark from the corner. Wynyard couldn't grab the rebound.
Good pass.
Nice pass by Monk, but it's rejected underneath as Dominique Hawkins couldn't bank one home.
Ole Miss trying to get some different looks defensively. They've got man. They've got 1-3. They've gone 1-3-1.
Tyree got caught in midair, threw it to no one. Malik Monk draws the foul on the floor. And tomorrow it's the Capital One Orange Bowl. Jim Harbaugh, number 6 Michigan, take on number 11 Florida State at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. 8 p.m. Eastern for the kickoff on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. DeAndre Burnett picks up his first. How about DeAndre Burnett? That's pretty good genes right there. The brother of Florida State running back Dalvin Cook.
Use him to set some screens for him.
He needs a fullback.
That was a walk.
How about the English off the backboard for De'Aaron Fox?
Boy, he is so fast and so quick.
And he picks up a cheap foul.
Yeah, there's a point of emphasis to call, shuffling of the feet on the start of a drive, and there's no question that was called earlier in the year, and De'Aaron Fox got away with that, but he is so darn quick. I'm not sure I've seen any guard who's faster with the ball than De'Aaron Fox. If they had a 100-yard dash while dribbling, I'm not sure there's anybody in the world that could beat this guy. He's so fast.
That's what Andy Kennedy said earlier today as Dominique Hawkins picks up the foul, that he is like nuclear fast.
I don't know if Usain Bolt can dribble, but my money would be on De'Aaron Fox. I'm guessing that Usain Bolt has not spent a lot of time working on his ball handling, but you never know.
Cullen Neal to the corner. The three won't go for Terrence Davis.
And that was a contested three. I'm not sure that was the right shot. I might want to shot fake and drive on some of these.
Fox with the setup, and Derek Willis knocks down a corner triple, and it's a 15-point lead for Kentucky.
And the full court pressure coming from Kentucky, and they're making non-handlers handle it. Furman Averages can handle the ball, but you don't want him handling it that much.
Another three won't go for Terrence Davis. This time Furman Averages though on the offensive leg.
This is a very good offensive rebounding team, Ole Miss. Look at that speed.
And he draws the foul. Offensive foul is called. De'Aaron Fox called for his second. Well, plenty of fresh faces each year for John Calipari. We'll go back and look at some of the impact duos when we return. Bob Wischusen, Jay Billis back in Oxford as Ole Miss trying to slow down about as talented a young backcourt as you will find in De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. And Jay wanted to go back and look at some notable freshman backcourts, not only how Monk and Fox compare, but where these combinations eventually took their teams.
Fox and Monk are the best I've seen. Now, John Wall and Eric Bledsoe were outstanding. They perhaps didn't have to score as much as Monk and Fox have to, but this is the most dynamic tandem of freshman guards I've ever seen. And that leaves off. I mean, we did leave off Jimmy King and Jalen Rose. They didn't strike me as guards. They're more wings that played in the backcourt. These guys are more traditional guards, and the Michigan guards wound up getting their team to the championship game 2 years in a row. It's an open question as to what Kentucky's going to do this year. This is a very, very talented basketball team. It's fully capable of reaching a Final Four, fully capable of winning this whole thing.
If there's a shortcoming, where is it?
I think the shortcoming, the place where they need to improve most, there are two areas. One is their perimeter shooting, but I'm not sure how much that can really improve. I mean, Malik Monk is their best shooter. Derek Willis is a very good shooter. Outside of that, they don't have a lot of knockdown shooters. The other is I think they can be a much better defensive team. They're fully capable of improving there, and I think they will. And really on the ball, they can really put a lot of pressure on the ball. They can block shots.
Speaking of which, Furman Averages has his shot thrown out by Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo. Boy, every time he got the ball inside when they played at Louisville last week, it was remarkable. He dunked on multiple players every time he got it. The question was, why didn't he get it more? I mean, after you see one of your teammates, dunk on multiple defenders, give that man the ball.
Point blank range for Rasheed Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks did a nice job of driving the middle, and as a defensive team, the one thing you don't want to do is give up a straight line middle drive. 1-3-1 again.
The seas part for Briscoe. He finds Adebayo. What's the foul?
Furman Avs just had a hand in his back, and any time that you see Kentucky drive into the paint, they are looking to throw the ball up by the rim. You're not going to see any bounce passes. They're throwing that thing up. And Isaiah Briscoe, when he got into the lane, that means Sebastian Saiz's got to come up and try to stop him. And they want him to just throw that ball right to the rim and let Bam Adebayo go get it. So far in this game, Sebastian Saiz, who's an excellent rebounder, he's missed like 6 shots, I think, but 3 of them have been threes.
Cullen Neal called for his third.
Wow.
Boy, does that have a huge early impact on this game.
Yeah, that's a crushing blow. He pushed off, I think it was at the left arm. Not much to it, a little acting with it. Morgan Freeman in the crowd. That could have been a a supporting actor Oscar there, but he got the call, so you got to give him credit for it. But that arm went out, and that's what players do to sell a call. 2-3 zone right now for Ole Miss. They have given a lot of defensive looks.
Line drive three won't go for Dominique Hawkins. As Morgan Freeman will be part of our broadcast coming up a little bit later on. Brooks, too strong off the window. Numbers the other way for Kentucky as Brooks fell down. 5 on 4. So Monk fades away. Long rebound, run down by Breein Tyree. Gives it up. And the reverse is good for Rasheed Brooks plus the foul.
We had talked about Malik Monk not going straight up on a couple of jump shots that he took earlier. And there was no reason for him to fade away on that shot. When you fade away, the old axiom is you're shooting at a moving target. And there was no reason for him to fade here. Just go straight up. And he faded straight back, and his shot, unsurprisingly, was short. And he's not in any position to either get to the offensive glass or to get back, because he was fading into the Ole Miss bench, was able to start a transition bucket for Ole Miss.
And then at the other end, Wenyen Gabriel picked up his second foul, so he's replaced by Michael Mulder. Back in the game as well, Derek Willis. Briscoe looks for Adebayo again. Wow.
It's got to be comforting as a passer when you know all you have to do is throw it anywhere near the rim, and Bam Adebayo is going to grab it. That was a great pass, but it was a pass made with a tremendous amount of trust that your teammate was going to go up and get that thing.
In football, they call it a catch radius, right? It's like when you're throwing the ball to Randy Moss. Just throw it anywhere, and he's going to somehow go get it.
A catch radius, that's a fancy way of saying the receiver's really good.
Hitting the underside of the rim was Marcanvas Hyman.
You can't get better shots right now than Ole Miss. What a shot.
Wow. Malik Monk somehow hangs and hits. Then has a chance for a three-point play.
My goodness. What an amazing shot. Malik Monk has got a 42-inch vertical. Little hang time here, goes behind his back right into the defender and still able to keep his eyes up and make that shot. That was spectacular.
And a lane violation gives him another chance.
This is one thing. There's been a rule of basketball for a long time that I've never understood. When there's a violation, why doesn't Kentucky just get the ball? Because the violation really was taking away their opportunity for an offensive rebound. They should get the ball. They shouldn't just get another free throw. I've never understood that rule. I've always thought that it should be like FIBA basketball used to be, that if the shot goes in, as long as there's not a foul, who cares if there's a lane violation? If it goes in, no problem. If it misses, the non-violating team gets the ball. You don't have to shoot it again.
Sloppy again for Ole Miss. Hyman commits another foul. That's his second. And we have now reached the bonus with 9:16 to go in the first half. Both teams over the first half limit. I don't get a chance to work with you that often, so I'm going to empty the tank tonight. I know that you are also a fan of the 4 quarters rather than 2 halves.
Yes.
Right? So what's your thought behind wanting to change the format of how college basketball is played?
Well, it's not a change in the format. I mean, the rest of the world plays with 4 quarters.
Well, that would be a change of the college basketball
format. Yeah, but it's college basketball is on an island right now. To me, we should be able to justify why we have 2 halves instead of 4 quarters. 4 quarters would allow us to reset team fouls at the end of the first and third quarters like they do at every other level of play. And so you wouldn't be stuck with getting some fouls early and hamstring you for the entire half. And we would see less free throws on common fouls. It's a much better way to play. And the fact that the rest of the world does it and we can't think of a reason why we want to stick with halves except we've always had it, to me isn't good enough.
Can I give you one?
Sure.
I like the uniqueness of the 1-and-1. Is there a way that you can keep 1-and-1 as Saiz answers the 3 at the Ole Miss end that Mulder connected on at the Kentucky end? Is there a way to keep the uniqueness of the 1-and-1 in college basketball? Because it is a lot of fun, I think, strategy-wise, towards the ends of halves, especially late in a close game, I think when a free throw shooter has to go and make that front end free throw.
That's fine. If we value the 1-and-1 so much, that's fine. That really doesn't change the calculus of going to quarters, though. It is, you would shoot free throws on the fifth team foul in every quarter. And often, in most games in FIBA and women's basketball, the NBA, they shoot 2 shots on every foul after 5.
Shot clock down to 1 as Kentucky doesn't realize it. Willis lost it, found it again. And a shot clock violation as Jay Willis drops calculus on me here in the first half.
Physics will be in the second half.
I'm very, very confused. All right, Chris, thanks very much. A 15-point lead for Kentucky in a gleaming new building here in Oxford. The Pavilion, a little over a year and a half ago, they broke ground. And just at the start of last basketball season's conference play, right after we turned the calendar from 2015 to 2016, they opened up the Pavilion. And Andy Kennedy said they were literally still bolting the last few chairs down into the upper deck when they got set to play their first game here.
Well, I hope they bolted the baskets down because Kentucky's been dunking so much. It might have shaken some of those bolts loose, but it's a beautiful building. Of the new on-campus arenas I've seen, I would put this right up there with Virginia. Sebastian Saiz got fouled right there. A really nice play where they ran a little flex cut and got the ball into Saiz into the post one-on-one. He got fouled by Derek Willis, and that's really what Ole Miss needs to do, is just run some better offense, move the ball a little bit, and then punch the ball inside. Saiz has turned himself into one outstanding college basketball player. He's not a great athlete, but he's got an incredible wingspan. 7'6". I wonder where he gets his shirts.
Same place you do.
No, my wingspan is nowhere near that. If it was, I would have been playing a lot longer.
Well, Saiz is the active career leading rebounder in the SEC right now, and he's trying to fight down low with Adebayo for position. Willis is able to keep the possession alive for the Wildcats. A rare shot clock under 10 for Kentucky. Adebayo muscles it up, lays it home, and Kentucky continues to shoot an incredibly high percentage here in the first half. And I guess when your pivot man is 5 for 5, you will be over 60% from the field.
Well, that was a beautiful move. Nice little up and under move. And you can't just play behind Bam Adebayo. So I'll tell you what, as well as Adebayo's played and as well as Kentucky's gotten the ball up and down the court, I think the reason that Kentucky, or one of the biggest reasons Kentucky's off to this start, has been the play of Isaiah Briscoe. And he's got 5 assists, 5 rebounds. He's played so well, and emblematic of that is when he dives on the floor for that loose ball, his team gets a layup. He's been the heart and soul of this effort by Kentucky on the road.
That was Adebayo's first miss. But his active hands create the turnover. Monk leans in. Count the basket. Another chance for Malik Monk at the line for a three-point play.
Tyree looked like he was there, but I thought he kind of put his chest right into Monk and created some of that contact first. That's why he picked up the foul. Well, Malik Monk is one talented scorer. That 47-point game that he had against North Carolina was simply spectacular. When Jody Meeks, I think he had 54 on the road at Tennessee years ago, but I think he was a junior when he did that.
Now, the previous freshman scoring record for Kentucky was 35, so Monk blew past that by 12 points.
I think Chris Jackson had like 55 when he was a freshman at LSU, but that had to be back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Foul away from the ball on Ole Miss. And that will go against Sebastian Saiz.
Saiz is just going against a man-child in Bam Adebayo. But look at these numbers by Malik Monk. 21 points per game. He's made 39 threes. He shoots a really good percentage from the field. And, this is after the percentage he's shooting. He shoots just under 40% from 3 and just under 50% overall, 85% from the line. But that's after going 1 of 9 from 3 against Louisville. His numbers were even better.
Adebayo missing and unable to tap it home on the second try.
He didn't get that, but the second and third effort, and he's just jumping. He's an incredible worker, Bam Adebayo.
The back cut not there. Rasheed Brooks couldn't catch up to the pass from Saiz. So it is a turnover, and you can tell he takes it seriously.
He takes it seriously, but I don't know, 18-year-olds didn't look like that when I was 18. No. That young man is NFL body, not just NBA.
If he's interested, there will be NFL scouts that would absolutely come to Kentucky games to see if he might want to try tight end at the NFL level, as Furman Avicius is not stopped at the goal, and Malik Monk already with 12 here in the first half again connects at the other end.
What was that, 3 seconds after the ball went through the net and Malik Monk is laying that in on the other end? That's incredible. The speed with which this team plays is just stunning.
Saiz again can't hit the three.
Saiz has taken more threes than anybody on his team.
Briscoe lobs it. Guess what? Adebayo is able to finish it again.
You take a bad shot. I mean, Kentucky's got 44 points. There's 5 minutes to go in the half. You take a bad shot, and that's a shot that Saiz can make. Yeah, I know he can make it, but he's taken like 4 or 5 threes already. And that's not his game, and Kentucky wants him to do that.
Another Ole Miss turnover. Again, a fast break bucket at the other end for Malik Monk. And again, Andy Kennedy helpless to do anything but call timeout and try and stop the bleeding. Kentucky on about a 125-point pace, and they have made it look awfully easy here in the first half at Ole Miss.
My neck hurts.
The last play, emblematic, Jay Willis, of what this whole game has been for the Wildcats.
Well, it's just incredible speed. Watch this miss, and when Kentucky, or the make, and when Kentucky gets the ball, inbounds it, 3 seconds, they score. I mean, yeah, you can yell for your team to get back. You can't simulate this kind of thing in practice. This speed is blinding by the Wildcats. And one of the only ways you can stop them is you've got to score and score efficiently on your end.
Well, Saiz is able to finish off a nice feed from Breein Tyree. But can Ole Miss get some stops?
We're back in this 2-3 zone. And Kentucky just can't be content to throw the ball around the perimeter. They've got to get into the gaps. Flash somebody in there, screen against it, overload it. Good pass.
Isaac Humphries fouled on the floor. And that foul will go against Terrence Davis. So that will put Isaac Humphries at the free throw line when we come back. It's been all Kentucky here at Ole Miss so far. All right, Chris, thanks very much. Alongside Jay Willis, I'm Bob Wischusen. Seth Greenberg's exactly right. Ole Miss has not even had a chance to set their defense, much less play defense against Kentucky.
Well, this Kentucky team has got a lot of great pieces. They've got a number of big guys, the biggest being Bam Adebayo right there talking to Malik Monk. But the speed of their backcourt is absolutely stunning. And it puts so much pressure on your defense. You're so worried about getting back.
There's some fun nicknames in college sports. Bam Adebayo, the fact that he was a toddler. His mom is watching the Flintstones, and he flipped over a coffee table, and that's how he got the name Bam.
Yeah, it could have been worse. He could have been Mr. Slate.
The great Kazoo. There's the baseball pass ahead to Monk. Sizes up a three. Wow.
Well, he went straight up and down on that one. It was nothing but the bottom of the net. He's an extraordinary shooter. And it's not just catch and shoot. He can shoot it off the dribble. But I still think going straight up, he's much more accurate.
Saiz too strong with the left hand. Furman Avicius tried to keep it alive, but Derek Willis corralled it for the Cats. Kicked out by Furman Avicius.
Let's take a look at Malik Monk on that last play. A terrific outlet pass by Derek Willis. Look how, I mean, he was allowed to basically bounce into that shot, but he went straight up and down. There's no question that thing was going in as soon as he let it go. Good
Backdoor
pass.
cut now, and Malik Monk will head to the free throw line. He has been over 20 in 7 of Kentucky's first 12 games, in double figures in every game. And if he knocks these two down, he'll already have 19 with 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, amazing. And the out of bounds play, just on the ball reversal, anytime you're alone on the wing, your guy's cutting back door. And that's exactly what Malik Monk did there. And a really nice pass to try to get it to him. From the state of Arkansas. And broke a lot of hearts in Arkansas when he decided to go to Kentucky. He's an avid squirrel hunter. Last time we were together in Louisville, I asked him, after being prodded by a Kentucky staff member, asked him what's his career high in one day in squirrel hunting, and he said 6 or 7. I was like, well, what is it, 6 or 7?
I guess my question would be, as soon as Kentucky gets a break, does he want to come to my house? Because I have a target-rich environment, and those things are annoying. I don't think they allow that in New Jersey. Derek Willis called for his second foul. So that will put Rasheed Brooks at the free throw line.
Rasheed Brooks has had some good games. He had 22 points against Creighton. He's been a little bit inconsistent, has some wild swings, but he's got a good looking stroke, and I think is a nice player. And boy, mentioning Creighton, Ole Miss played Creighton earlier this season, I think in the Paradise Jam, but Creighton is really good. I mean, the Big East is excellent, but Creighton is outstanding. I mean, excellent guards, Maurice Watson, Marcus Foster transferred in from Kansas State. The freshman big guy Justin Patton, Kyrie Thomas, they are loaded. That's a really, really dangerous basketball team that can score.
Who else jumps at this point? I mean, obviously, so much will change. As Adebayo can't finish the first alley-oop attempt they've thrown his way, but it's only the calendar just turning now from December to January. We're just beginning conference play as Burnett scores. Who jumps out at you as maybe a surprise to this point, or the team that you think might be most different and most improved when we get to March?
Well, one of the surprises has been Butler. And you thought Butler's going to be good. I didn't know they'd be this good. And Creighton is way better than I imagined they would be. I had no idea that Justin Patton was the type of player that he is. He's really, really good.
What do you think of the Big East as a league?
I think it's top 4, maybe even top 3. Right now, Big 12, you put Big 12 and ACC as the top 2. And I think you put the Big East right there, right after that. I'll tell you, what a game Isaiah Briscoe's having. I don't know if you want to say he's done it quietly. I don't really think it's been that quiet. It's been pretty loud. And the loudest, I hate to harp on this, but when he dove on the floor, that's the play of the game to me.
He's that Swiss Army knife player that can do a little bit of everything. And here he's able to tightrope along the baseline.
Yeah, you really can't let a guy get past you like that when you're guarding the baseline, but it's no surprise that if somebody's going to get past you, past Sebastian Said, it's going to be Isaiah Briscoe. He's a Jersey kid that he can really get to the rim. Operates really well along the baseline. He's just, the one thing he doesn't do is he doesn't shoot it.
Went to Roselle Catholic from Newark, New Jersey. Several of my relatives work at Roselle Catholic. My aunt is an art teacher. He said, oh yeah, I remember your aunt. She ran the detention room.
Not that Isaiah was ever there.
Wow. How about that for Malik Monk? That's a way to get over 20 points for the 8th time so far this season. Already in the first half. He might break his 47-point freshman scoring record for Kentucky in this game as Briscoe comes the other way. Tries the crossover, and it ends up staying with the Cats.
We're seeing a lot of frustration right now on the part of the Ole Miss players, and especially right there, DeAndre Burnett. Tries to get all the way to the rim. Didn't make a single pass in that possession. Didn't make the Kentucky defense move. And one thing right now, when you're down 22, getting a couple of scores just to get some confidence, see the ball go through the net. You got to make Kentucky work a little bit on defense, and Ole Miss is not doing that. 2-3 zone on the out of bounds underneath.
Shot clock under 10. rarely for Kentucky, and now a turnover. Rasheed Brooks can't finish. Gets some help from Terrence Davis.
Boy, that's the kind of first half it's been for Ole Miss. You can't get anything to go down, even when they've got really good opportunities. Saeed struggled.
Isaiah Briscoe sees the game clock winding down. He'll lean in. He can't score it. He was looking over his shoulder at John Calipari. Shocked that Calipari, with under 30 seconds to go in the first half and his team up by 20, was still screaming at his team to push the tempo. Well, tomorrow, we just keep on bowling. 2 more games for you on ESPN. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl between Georgia and TCU begins the day at noon, followed up at 3:30 by the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl, Nebraska and number 21 Tennessee in Nashville. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN.
Did you hear the other day where Alabama coach Nick Saban, I don't want to say he blamed the media, but sort of implied that, hey, you know, we were the ones that wanted this playoff, the college football playoff, and now you've got players that are skipping bowl games, and people are using the term meaningless bowls and all that stuff. And I don't see that the bowls have changed any just because we've got a playoff. I mean, we've got 41 bowl games. And so whether we got a playoff or not, some people are going to think some bowl games have less meaning than others. And to me, you know, if you like football, just like if you like basketball, you're going to watch games, whether you think they're, you know, as meaningful as the college football playoff or not. It's always our fault.
20 seconds to go in the first half.
2-3 zone. Kentucky's probably going to run a little play.
Monk just keeps on knocking down shots.
That's the best play to run. Give the ball to Malik Monk.
3/4 court won't go for Furman Abichis, and it was a clinic in the first half for John Calipari's team. They usually win when they find their way to a double-digit lead, and they have that and then some.
They always win when they're up 21.
It's time for the college basketball halftime report with Seth Greenberg back touching the SEC on ESPN. The square here in Oxford, a holiday mood outside, and unfortunately for Ole Miss fans, a very giving mood inside for the Rebels, as they have not done much to stop Kentucky. 60 points in the first half for the Wildcats. Bob Wischusen here with Jay Willis. Now, you talked about the backcourt for the Wildcats and how talented they are. We talked about the 2 freshmen. It's the sophomore, though, that's basically checked every column in the box score.
Yeah, Isaiah Briscoe was really outstanding in the first half. You know, De'Aaron Fox only played 6 minutes, picked up a couple fouls, still had 8 points to De'Aaron Fox, but I thought Isaiah Briscoe really set the tone for this Kentucky team, diving on the floor. I mean, he's in the territory where he can start thinking about a triple-double. He has rebounded, he's assisted, he had 8 assists in that first half, 8 points. We could be looking at the second triple-double of the season for Kentucky, the first going to De'Aaron Fox against Arizona State. And Briscoe, he doesn't have 8 assists. He's got 9 assists in that first half. That's been confirmed. The stat sheet says 8, but he's got 9. And that's a heck of a first half for the sophomore from New Jersey.
If Briscoe were to get a triple-double, how about that for Kentucky? That would be 2 triple-doubles, as you mentioned, before we get to the new year, for a program that has 1 triple-double in its history before this year, going back to '88 and Chris Mills. You know, all the years of Kentucky basketball, 1 triple-double.
Yeah, really remarkable.
There's Briscoe feeding it underneath. Adebayo has it swatted away. Scramble forward at midcourt, and one of the rare times that Ole Miss comes up with a 50-50 ball.
Let's see, after talking about it at halftime, whether Ole Miss can run some better offense. I think better offense will lead to some better defense. They won't be watching, and there's a poor offense, and it could have led to a layup.
Monk runs down the wild pass from De'Aaron Fox. Adebayo through a double team. Offensive rebound is up and good for Wenyen Gabriel.
The only thing that Kentucky could complain about in the first half was that the Wildcats didn't really cut off second shots for Ole Miss. Ole Miss had 12 second chance points. Outside of that, Kentucky really did a good job defensively in that first half. And that's where I think this team can really make great improvement. They're not a bad defensive team, but they can be a great defensive team.
That Sai's three goes. He took 5 threes in the first half, so now he's 2 for 6, and that number surprised you.
The number of threes that he took, a couple of them I didn't think were great shots for him. Obviously he can make them. He's made a couple of them.
Fox off the rotation. That's a brick.
He has really struggled from the field as a three-point shooter. But John Calipari wants De'Aaron Fox to take those shots. If they're going to leave him wide open, he wants him to start pulling the trigger on those.
Monk in rhythm. The long rebound. Grabbed by Briscoe. De'Aaron Fox finds Adebayo. It's another dunk for the freshman from North Carolina.
Bam Adebayo. He's 19 years old. He is a man among men.
Line drive three won't go from DeAndre Burnett in the corner. And here comes Briscoe.
Fox with those long arms. Just grabbed that over the top of an Ole Miss rebounder.
Briscoe tries a three. Good.
He's really worked on that shot. It is still not a perfect stroke, but it is much improved, and that's an area he's really put the work in. And it's nice to see a young man that's worked as hard as Isaiah Briscoe get rewarded for that work.
2 rebounds and an assist away from a triple-double. Nice scoop by DeAndre Burnett.
Nice little set play that they run. Burnett comes off for a handoff. It's a handoff roll replace, and he can really get to the basket.
Now the 3rd leading scorer in the SEC is going to have to pick it up. Hard foul underneath, and Adebayo is helped up by Fox. Back to the studio and Chris Cotter.
All right, Bob, Jay, let's get you updated on what's happening with number 13 Butler at St. John's. St. John's up 3, missed free throw. Keelan Martin, coach, one final shot.
Pretty good look right there, but this is a program win for St. John's. It is hard winning on the road. Butler's got Villanova coming up.
Bob, Jay, back to you guys.
Surprising result there.
Well, St. John's blasted Syracuse by 33 in the Carrier Dome. That was the most surprising result from any Big East team. But a great win for St. John's, and the kind of win they can build off of. Overall, Kentucky's done a pretty nice job of taking on whenever Ole Miss has thrown that 1-3-1 at them. They've done a nice job of moving the ball and get it down along the baseline where they can attack the bottom one of that 1-3-1, where I think that defense is most vulnerable. You can throw over the top and really take advantage of the fact that it's a little bit thin on the baseline. And Cullen Neal, he was on the bench for a ton of time in that first half, picked up his 3rd foul, and that really changed the tenor of this game.
Saiz goes it out of bounds and finishes with the right hand.
Great footwork by Sebastian Saiz. He is not a spectacular athlete. That was really well executed.
How about the save by Malik Monk accurately to Adebayo, but a block underneath by Hyman. The scoop won't go, just off the back iron for Fitzpatrick Dorsey.
Fox just gave enough pressure.
Monk hooks the pass up and Adebayo. We talked about the catch radius, and he shows it off again. That wasn't anywhere near the rim, and he was able to gather and finish.
What was behind him? But that all started off with De'Aaron Fox playing really good defense on the other end.
Saiz, an old-fashioned hook.
Another rebound for Isaiah Briscoe.
He's a rebound and an assist away from the triple-double. That finger roll won't go. Rasheed Brooks gives it up, gets it back. Can't score it, but Wenyen Gabriel commits the foul. When we come back, 94 feet with Jay Willis, a Mississippi man and someone we absolutely guarantee you will recognize. Stay tuned.
94 feet with the great Morgan Freeman.
Howdy.
What is the most important role you've ever had?
The most important
role
role
for your career?
I think it was probably, well, I don't know. I did a movie called Street Smart, and that sort of catapulted me into the movies. But I was doing quite good on stage prior to that, so it's hard to say which one.
All right, well then I'll ask you something. Tell me what you love about the state of Mississippi.
What do I love about this state? It's always been a comforting place for me. I've been a lot of places, and I don't know, there may be something to be said about home, you know?
How about you played God and you played the President of the United States? Which would you rather be?
Neither.
Morgan Freeman, 94 feet.
He was going 4 corners on me. We went 65 feet before the first question was answered. I should have really pressed him.
His last answer was by far his best.
Well, and plus, the most important role, he forgot the electric company.
My favorite role, and talk about a celebrity row tonight. Ashley Judd made the drive down to Oxford to check out her cats.
Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman starred together and kissed the girls. Did you ever see that movie? It was a great movie.
Great movie.
Watch it on HBO all the time when I'm not watching ESPN college basketball. And I'm always watching ESPN college basketball.
If we had a play-by-play team, it could be you and Adnan Burke calling the Oscars.
That would be fun.
That would be great. My nickname for Adnan is Adnan Envelopes. He lives for this time of year. Line drive jumper won't go for Derek Willis. Offensive rebound. Adebayo.
John Calipari all over De'Aaron Fox right now, screaming at him to get open. Man-to-man right now for Ole Miss.
Willis, a little too strong. Here comes Cullen Neal the other way.
Cullen Neal transferred in. He's a graduate transfer from New Mexico. His father, Craig Noodles Neal, the head coach there, was a player at Georgia Tech and an excellent player, wound up playing in the NBA. And he hosted Andy Kennedy on his visit to Georgia Tech when Bobby Cremins was recruiting him in the mid-'80s.
They stayed lifelong friends, and that created a home for Cullen Neal when he needed somewhere to go. As Malik Monk gets a little sloppy with the basketball, it's out, however, off of Ole Miss.
Well, it might not have been the pass that John Calipari would prefer, but when you got 24 points in the first half, you don't take a guy out for that. That's one you live with. You talk about it in film later on.
And Adebayo looks like he may have been cut, so he will head to the bench and be replaced by Isaac Humphries. And it's the games we've been waiting for all season. The college football playoff semifinals. New Year's Eve, ESPN. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl begins it at 3 Eastern. Washington, Alabama. And then at 7, Ohio State, Clemson in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. 2 more for Isaiah Briscoe. Of course, you can catch the games on Watch ESPN or stream it live on the Watch ESPN app.
I think it's so interesting that Alabama taking on Washington, the connection between Don James, the great former coach at Washington, and Nick Saban. Helped give him his start in football.
Monk lost it out of bounds. John Calipari said something to his team earlier today that I thought was interesting, and I'm wondering if you agree. He said, we shoot the ball so quickly and push it so often that we already have a reputation around college basketball for if you can get us into the half court, we're vulnerable. He said, guys, I think that's crazy. I think we could be a very good half court team.
Well, absolutely they can be. But, if you're game planning against Kentucky, it's not that they can't play in the half court. That's the only chance you've got to beat them.
You have no shot if they run.
No, really, not if they run like this.
Right.
I mean, UCLA can go up and down with them. There are a number of teams that can run with Kentucky. But if you're giving them easy basket after easy basket like this, and if offensively you're not scoring on Kentucky and making them take it out of the net, then I think your chances of winning are pretty slim.
Willis can't handle a bullet pass from Malik Monk.
And one thing that John Calipari does not want to see right now, even though his team has a 21-point lead, is sloppiness. But, this is still a young team. And they've got a, yeah, he's just saying one more pass. He says one more pass like that, Malik, I'm taking you out.
For as fast as they go, again, a team that averages a shot every 13.5 seconds. They only average 11.5 turnovers per game, and they've only committed 5 turnovers so far tonight. Do you find that unusual that a team that would play with that type of rapid-fire pace wouldn't be prone at times to getting sloppy with the basketball more often?
Not really, because they're not forcing their break. They're taking it when it's there, and they're creating those opportunities. And oftentimes they've done it after a made shot. You know, they get the ball in so quickly. So it's not like they're taking crazy chances. They're trying to play ahead of their opponent's defense, and they've played ahead of Ole Miss's defense quite a bit in this game, and that's led them to a lot of easy opportunities. So I don't think necessarily goes hand in hand that if you play fast, you have to turn it over. I think it's really important when you play against Kentucky that your offense had better help your defense. You're not going to stop their transition just by yelling "get back, get back." You're going to have to run really good offense.
Foul called on DeAndre Burnett as he tried to take it away from Isaiah Briscoe, who is now 1 rebound and 1 assist away from that triple-double. That's Burnett's second.
They ran a nice set on an out-of-bounds underneath where they got a high screen, and Isaiah Briscoe is able to get to the rim. A little throwback there. That ball's got to go in right away.
Adebayo, unstoppable.
He got the ball inside, which was the right thing to do. Ball went in a little bit late, but he's unstoppable in there.
Sweet jumper from DeAndre Burnett.
DeAndre Burnett, he averages 19 a game. That's 3rd in the league. But he had 41 earlier this year against Oral Roberts.
Adebayo that time got caught up against the rim, but a foul called on the alley-oop attempt. Looks like Fermin Avitus will be called for the personal. And it looks like they will call that foul on the floor.
You know, Burnett for Ole Miss didn't start the last couple of games for Andy Kennedy. And Andy Kennedy felt like he had been settling, maybe not as attacking as he should be. He's the type of player that's got to attack. He's got to get to the free throw line. He can't be just settling for jump shots. You take them when they're there.
Box to the corner. Willis off the mark. And this time it looks like a foul will be called on Michael Mulder. That will go against Mulder. So Ole Miss with the basketball when we return, but they have dug themselves a very deep hole with under 12 to go. All right, Chris, thanks very much. Look, SEC opener between Kentucky and Ole Miss. And the guy behind Ted Valentine multiple times played God. Do you think this is Ted Valentine's version of confession?
I think
going over and saying something just to get it off his chest.
Well, you can't call him TV Ted anymore. You got to call him Cinema Ted if he's over there with Morgan Freeman. That's an interesting point by Seth Greenberg there about Yante Maton and J.J. Frazier. They're excellent players. Yante Maton, one of the best players in the country, but I'm not sure I wouldn't take Bam Adebayo and Malik Monk the way they played in this game. I mean, already they've combined for 45 points, and they've gone 15 for 26.
Pretty scooping hook from Sebastian Saiz.
Well, Ole Miss is hanging in there. I mean, they dug themselves, as you mentioned, a very deep hole, but at the very least, they've stopped digging, and they've played much, much better over the last 5 minutes.
Adebayo sets up Mulder. That's off the mark. Adebayo, though, kept it alive. Loose ball on the baseline. Wenyen Gabriel throws it up top to DeAndre Burnett. Burnett tries to go coast to coast, lost his footing, and a foul will be called. It looks like Dominique Hawkins bumped into DeAndre Burnett, so Burnett will shoot 2.
That's where DeAndre Burnett is at his best, and that is taking the ball to the basket. He can knock down threes, and he's hit a ton of them. He makes 2.5 a game. But this is where he's most dangerous, at the free throw line, where he shoots 92%.
He took a redshirt year with a wrist injury in an exhibition game his first year at Miami. And I remember doing a Miami game and talking to Jim Larinaga at the time. His team was struggling scoring. And he said, that's because our best scorer is that freshman right over there on the bench. He can't play. And I had not seen Burnett play yet. Obviously only played an exhibition game and got hurt. He said when he comes back, he is going to help us in such a big way. And he spent 1 year at UM and only scored 7 points, and then looked to transfer. And it's a player that Andy Kennedy had recruited out of high school down in Miami, and this became the spot that he landed.
How about De'Aaron Fox, how quickly he got the ball down the court? That was after a free throw and got the ball down court and got all the way to the rim after a free throw. I'm still trying to figure out why the move to the headband.
Because it looks good.
Well, anything looks good when you run that fast.
Saiz called for his 3rd foul on that drive by De'Aaron Fox.
Well, maybe he's got something going on I wouldn't know anything about anymore, and that's hair in your eyes. Unless my eyebrows grow really long, I got no shot at that again.
Well, you're not going to look to your left and see flowing locks sitting next to you either. Well, let's see if this is not the next pair of people that Vidal Sassoon is going to put in their next commercial.
You're going back to the 70s with Vidal Sassoon there.
Well, I'm showing your age. I mean, you use the electric company.
I'm showing your age.
Yeah. You use the electric company with Morgan Freeman. I figure I might as well join in.
Well, it doesn't mean I was watching it back then. It just means I'm a student of history. Now that's some hair right there. That's Hall of Fame hair. That
is product. Saiz shuffled his feet. And that is not product. That might be product, but it's the kind that makes it look shiny on top.
Well, I'm actually here. You mentioned that we haven't worked together in a while. I'm actually here because I won the Andy Kennedy lookalike contest. Side ball screen, got a switch, and Isaiah Briscoe's taking that on. Good move.
Can't finish it. Another rebound pulled down by Saiz. Cullen Neal, backdoor, not able to handle it was Terrence Davis.
It was funny. Cullen Neal, his last 3 games coming into this one, had 20 assists and 1 turnover. And the pressure that Kentucky put on him not only forced him to turn it over several times, but forced him into some fouls. He got that offensive foul, a push off on De'Aaron Fox. So you got to be careful on those handoffs. Wenyen Gabriel almost turned that over trying to hand it off to Isaiah Briscoe in the corner.
De'Aaron Fox with a crossover. That jumper comes out long. Monk sets up Adebayo. And a fresh shot clock for the Cats.
Well, good decision by Bam Adebayo to kick that ball back out. Just because you get the ball down low doesn't mean you have to shoot it, and your teammates are going to trust you more when you make good decisions. That was a really good decision. Got to switch now. Burnett is on Adebayo down low.
Briscoe again drives it. Again gets shut down, that time by Firminovic.
Ole Miss is continuing to fight. They get a couple scores here.
Second effort won't go for Terrence Davis. Held ball.
Really what Ole Miss has to do, get a couple stops, get a couple scores, and try to put a little bit of game pressure on Kentucky, because the Wildcats have been playing without pressure for basically this whole game.
And an easy steal from Malik Monk. Hard foul by Terrence Davis. Well, this game has turned out to be exactly what John Calipari didn't think it would be, at least what he told us at shoot-around. There was a part of him that seemed to be looking forward to. Young team, conference game, on the road. Hey, guys, we're not going to win every game by 17. There's going to be games where in the second half with 10 minutes to go, it's going to be a 6-point margin, and can we handle that? And then his team comes out and just blitzes Ole Miss from the start. So unless Ole Miss can put together a run, he's still looking for that test.
Well, and right now, I mean, they're being tested, but I think right now what he's looking for is, can you sustain your concentration when you've got a lead? Because against the teams that Kentucky's going to be playing the remainder of the time, you can have a 16, 17-point lead with 9, 10 minutes to go, and it doesn't mean that lead is safe. You still have to play. Burnett needed to take a dribble down to the baseline, try to get the ball inside to Saiz.
Goaltending is the call, as Burnett's bucket will count before Brooks flushed it through.
So really the issue right now, Ole Miss is running some much better offense in the second half, but they got to get some stops. String together some consecutive stops and scores and see if they can get back into this game.
Fox, wild pass on the baseline. Adebayo keeps it alive, then throws it away.
Well, all of a sudden, Kentucky looks awfully young out there, making some rookie mistakes.
Burnett has his pocket picked by Wenyen Gabriel. Crowd can't believe it. They thought it went out off of Gabriel.
It actually looked like it did. Gabriel was running forward. It was off of Gabriel.
No doubt.
I mean, that's a bad miss there. It's hard for it to go off the guy who's running in the opposite direction.
Is that the physics you promised to touch on in the second half?
I'm glad you noticed that.
Thank you.
Calculus in the first half, physics in the second. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle is all part of this.
I'm uncertain about anything you just said as Briscoe adds to a terrific night. That three's off the mark. Quick trigger from Rasheed Brooks.
Not sure that was the shot. Didn't make Kentucky defend at all.
Hawkins for three. Short. Burnett forces up a three as well. Thought he got fouled.
Forces up was right. That wasn't taken in any kind of offensive rhythm.
Fox uses the window. Saiz the rebound. Adds to his fourth consecutive double-double. DeAndre Burnett attacks and scores.
Well, you take a bad shot, all of a sudden you give up a layup on the other end. But boy, Sebastian Saiz just puts numbers up, doesn't he?
Briscoe stops at the front of the rim and draws the foul. We've given you calculus. We've given you physics. We've given you hair commercials tonight. A little bit of everything. Some music. A jazz education when we return, courtesy of Malik Monk. We'll explain. When Malik Monk had 47 against North Carolina, he made sweet music. Got us thinking about the late Thelonious Monk, who is widely considered one of the legends of American jazz and a composer as well. He won some awards. Who knows how many awards Malik Monk might win before this season is up. Certainly in the running for the Wooden Award, the Naismith, the Jerry West Award as well. How about some namesakes right now in college basketball? Bam Adebayo is actually named after Bam Bam Rubble, so that one works.
Lonzo Ball and Lucille Ball. Chris Boucher, they do call Chris Boucher the swatter boy after Bobby Boucher because he blocked so many shots out of Oregon. We're reaching a little bit there, but the Thelonious Monk had a great song called Blue Monk, and that might be the new nickname for Malik Monk, playing for Big Blue.
Although you've talked about this guy at the free throw line as being the difference maker from the opening moments of tonight's game.
He really set the tone, I thought. You know, he's got 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 15 points. He's played 30 minutes in this game. He's played a number of minutes at the point guard position when De'Aaron Fox was out in that first half. But there have been a number of Wildcats that have played very well. Malik Monk right up there, Bam Adebayo, but I'm not sure anyone's done more for this effort by Kentucky on the road than Isaiah Briscoe.
That's Jay Willis. I'm Bob Wischusen. Sebastian Saiz has been the bright spot offensively tonight for Ole Miss with another double-double. Cullen Neal has had a very difficult night and loses it again to De'Aaron Fox, who finds Adebayo at the front of the rim.
Well, you've really got to protect the basket. And another steal by De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, Ole Miss, they were knocking on the door of trying to get back in it, but turnover, you know, some bad offensive possessions. You know, Ole Miss is much better than they have shown in this game, but you got to give all the credit to Kentucky. There's a team that has a really high ceiling, and they're continuing to get better. And look at you know, one of the things when you're looking at a team, I think you have to look at the quality of loss. And look at the quality of losses that Kentucky's got. They lost by what, a bucket or two to UCLA at Rupp, and then they lost at the KFC Yum Center to Louisville. Those are two pretty darn good teams.
How about that finish last night between Oregon and UCLA?
Boy, it was nice to see a healthy Dylan Brooks because he is a difference maker. That was a big-time shot.
DeAndre Burnett tries to go coast to coast and does.
Well, your point about the Oregon-UCLA game, it was not only a wonderful game to watch, but it just pointed up something that we talked about in this game, and that is if you're going to play a team like Kentucky, you're going to play UCLA, you're going to have to score. You're not going to beat UCLA by scoring 68 points. You're going to have to score 88 to beat them. And I think the same is true of this Kentucky team. You're going to have to put a team like Louisville that's so good defensively and can get its own tempo. Maybe they can win in the 70s, but not that many teams are going to be able to do that.
Tomorrow we'll keep on bowling. 2 more games for you on ESPN. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl starts a doubleheader. Georgia TCU at noon Eastern, and then the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl in Nashville. It's Nebraska and number 21 Tennessee. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN.
How about the Nebraska Cornhusker basketball team going into Assembly Hall and beating Indiana? I mean, that was a score that got a little bit overlooked with UCLA's loss. The fact that Tim Miles and his team, hit the road after really struggling. They're able to knock off Indiana. And Indiana's got Louisville coming up. They've got to play Wisconsin at home. And it does not get any easier for the Hoosiers.
Is that one of your next games?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm there. I'm a one game at a time guy. I'm really not looking past anything.
I got you. We're going to have to get the rest of those Bull Durham cliches out of you in the next 5 minutes if we can.
Good Lord willing.
Saiz for 3. Yes.
Well, he's taken a number of those, but that was right in rhythm. Another outstanding game and a productive game for Sebastian Saiz. He had a 19 rebound game earlier this year against UMass. He's had 2 16 rebound games. He works his tail off on the glass.
And he has taken quite the road to get here. From Madrid all the way to Wichita, Kansas to play at Sunrise Christian Academy, which of course has produced a lot of top Division I talent, all the way down to Oxford, where he has found a home at Ole Miss and has become a double-double machine. 4 double-doubles in a row, but he has circumnavigated the globe in order to arrive here at Ole Miss.
Yeah, not to be picky, Bob, but there is no road between Madrid and Wichita.
That, actually, you might want to rephrase that. That is to be picky. But that's fine.
So we've covered geography, calculus, physics, jazz. We've had an intro to jazz.
Yes. Yeah, lunch is next.
A 100 level course.
If it was high school, it's time for lunch. Or gym. Which I didn't look forward to as much as I'm sure you did.
Always my best grades were in gym class.
Burnett, quick trigger. That's off the mark from 3, and it goes over the backboard. Kentucky right now 8th in the poll. You think there are 7 teams in America that are better than the group that we're watching tonight?
Just because
it might be the wrong night to ask that question.
No, it's just because they've lost a couple games. But right now, John Calipari's running stuff for Isaiah Briscoe. He's going to try to get him something where he can get another assist.
That could be it.
They called a foul.
Unless a foul is called by Ted Valentine underneath. And that will go against Mark Canvas-Hyman. That's his 3rd. Well, John Calipari, I guess he knows Isaiah Briscoe is very close to potentially the 2nd triple-double of the season and 3rd in Kentucky history. right, Chris Cotter, thanks very much. Bob Wischusen, Jay Willis, where it has been far more than an 8-point lead most of the night for Kentucky, as Ole Miss has never been able at any point in the game to put together a defensive stand and slow Kentucky down. They have named the pace, and Jay, it looks like they can just about name their score.
Yeah, this has been a really good performance by Kentucky, and we've mentioned Isaiah Briscoe, one assist and 1 rebound away from a triple-double. He's had an extraordinary effort in this ball game, and it's not that Ole Miss hasn't had some good performances. Sebastian Saiz has 23 points, 12 rebounds. DeAndre Burnett, 18 points, 6 assists. But they have turned the ball over 15 times to Kentucky's 7. Kentucky has dominated the paint. They've dominated points off turnovers. And they've dominated fast break points.
Isaiah Briscoe came very close to rebound number 10 on that ball that ended up out of bounds.
At this point in the game, he might need sort of a Moses Malone rebound to
get one from the bench.
No, get one from his own miss. You might want to give up a make just to get a rebound.
Looking for that assist to Monk in the corner. Knocks it down.
Now, he should get an assist there, even though Malik Monk dribbled that ball. Good closeout.
And they did give him the 10th assist of the night. So 1 rebound away from a triple-double for Isaiah Briscoe.
Even though you don't want to be stat-driven, it is a remarkable achievement for Isaiah Briscoe just to be in the neighborhood of a triple-double in any game. But he really did set the tone early on. And not just because he's got a triple-double. He's been the player of the game to me because he's played on both ends. He's done everything in this game.
That foul on Monk, his second.
One thing with Malik Monk, I mean, we've talked about what a great scorer he is, and he's a spectacular athlete. One area I think he can get a lot better. I think he can be a much better rebounder. To rebound his size and athleticism where the numbers match up to what he's capable of doing.
Briscoe's jumper a little too strong. Offensive rebound, and the putback goes for Derek Willis.
Yeah, nice job by Bam Adebayo to lay off that thing. Showed a lot of awareness around the rim. It's so hard for a big guy to lay off this. And he saw it was right up on the rim and just let it fall in. And Bam Adebayo's had a great game.
And there's a brick thrown up, it looks like intentionally, by Derek Willis to get, guess what? Isaiah Briscoe a rebound. He's got the triple-double. I'm going to give Derek Willis the benefit of the doubt and say that was an intentional miss.
What a nice guy.
Because if it wasn't, that was Ken Bannister-esque. Malik Monk hits the triple. So a triple-double for Isaiah Briscoe. The second this season for a Kentucky Wildcat and the 3rd in school history.
Well, now the real drama in the game is whether John Calipari is going to sleep on the couch when he gets home if he doesn't put his son Brad in.
Adebayo hangs from the rim one more time. Adebayo with a career high. And Isaiah Briscoe is closing in on a career high as well as the C's Mark for Bree and Tyree.
Well, I don't think Ole Miss has played anywhere near their capabilities. This is a much better team than the Rebels have shown to be, but you have to give the credit to Kentucky. Kentucky has a lot of different weapons, and this is a weapon that they need to continue to go to. Bam Adebayo, when he touches the ball, good things happen.
In John Calipari's 7+ years now at Kentucky, this is the first time that he has had a team that has put together 5 games where they've scored 100 or more points. And they've already done it before we've gotten to conference play. It's amazing. Wischusen, Jay Willis back on a night where a triple-double has been recorded by Isaiah Briscoe on that missed free throw by Derek Willis. Now, Briscoe, he gets a rebound. My question is, does Derek Willis get an assist?
Yeah, he probably should. There's no question he missed that on purpose, but
It's the fist bump to the bench.
that's a good teammate. That's a nice thing.
The well-executed intentional miss, and Briscoe ends up with a career night.
Now, if I'm a Kentucky player right now, I'm setting screens for Brad Calipari, because that might ingratiate me with the coach and the coach's lovely wife.
More importantly.
Exactly.
Wenyen Gabriel can't hit it. Kentucky still needs a point to get to 100. Brooks hits the three.
Brooks has a nice stroke when he takes his time. He bangs shots down. He's got some ability.
Isaac Humphries stepped on the end line before he could find Brad Calipari. Well, tonight after the Valero Alamo Bowl, tune into SportsCenter at night with Kevin Connors and the coach, Jonathan Coachman. They'll have all the highlights of the bowl games of the day and night, as well as the NBA, NHL, college hoops, NFL news as well. SportsCenter at night after Oklahoma State, Colorado on ESPN, streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Kevin Connors, an excellent point guard himself at Ithaca College. Never had a triple-double, though.
And it does turn out that Kentucky comes up 1 point short of 100, but that does not diminish their performance tonight. Wow, as they were in control of this game from the start. So number 8 up to 11-2 on a night where Isaiah Briscoe gets a triple-double. That'll do it from Oxford. For Jay Willis, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Ole Miss. It's time for SportsCenter. Have a great night.